Hey everyone, welcome to Hops and Highways, your weekly newscast dedicated to the road building industry. I'm Jessica Lombardo, editor of Asphalt Contractor magazine, and with me is Dormy Roberts, the associate editor. So I hope those of you who are tuned in today aren't too disappointed that Edward James couldn't be with us today. His crew is on one of the last days of their paving, and so he wasn't able to make it in time. How rude of him for doing his job and making money instead of drinking beer with us today. Come on.
But fortunately, Edward has agreed to join us next week, so make sure you tune in then. In the meantime, we still have news to cover this week. But first, why don't we get to what we're drinking? So this week, I am drinking the Crop Dooster from Dooster Wex Brewing Company in neighboring town, Elkhorn, Wisconsin. It's a cream ale that is smooth, refreshing, and almost has that grain malt finish. Jess, can you taste anything yet? Did you manage to break away from your Busch Lights?
I did. So I'm drinking Snowdrift Vanilla Porter from Leinenkugels, which is another Wisconsin brewery, but you can get it nationally. Snowing in Wisconsin today, so it seemed like a really fitting beer. It's got chocolate, coffee, and of course vanilla, and I really like it. It's one of my favorite beers. So we are going to move forward and cheers to the end of the week. That means 2020 is one day closer to being done, and I can almost taste it. But in the meantime, I'm just going to drink this beer. So cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
So let's dig into the news. And this week, the economy was again front and center. So Congress is negotiating the next COVID relief package, and they've been negotiating this for 2 weeks now. The House and Senate, they're racing to finish a massive end of the year deal to fund the government and provide help to workers and families struggling through the pandemic. Funding expires at midnight tonight. They still have no deal. And, Congress, they were trying to pass a 1 week stopgap to avoid the government shutting down tomorrow. And that would fund the government through December 18th. But without such action, the government's going to shut down tomorrow. Yikes.
So last week, lawmakers released their COVID-19 aid framework that proposed $45 billion for transportation systems. So of that proposal, which totaled $908 billion, $45 billion would be directed to airlines, airports, the bus and transit system, and Amtrak operations. $16 billion for vaccine development and distribution, $10 billion for the postal system, and $10 billion for the child care assistance.
So we're holding our breath as Congress tries to work together for once to get something passed. But luckily for our industry, funding is secured until September 21 when the FAST Act expires. So at least your projects won't be shut down at all. And we are going to cheers to that.
Hey, shout out to Marvin for joining us today.
Hey, Marvin, what's up?
So now we do have some bad news of the week, and it wouldn't be 2020 without a week of bad news. So the American Road and Transportation Builders Association, or ARTBA, has released their annual report that they will have forecast that the U.S. transportation construction market is expected to shrink by 5.5% next year, driven primarily by the severe economic recession caused by the coronavirus pandemic.
Yeah, so that expected market contraction follows a record year for most transportation sectors in 2020. So it's really unfortunate to hear that the industry will be down in 2021, but I guess it's not really news. I've had a hard year, so 2021 is going to have to take some time to rebound. But the report says Congress and the president could help mitigate the economic downturn and put the nation on the road to a stronger recovery by approving a long-term, robustly funded transportation infrastructure investment package early in 2021.
And the report goes on to say that the market growth could resume in 2022, provided that economic conditions improve and travel demand in some sectors begin to return to pre-recession levels. However, states are expecting shortfalls in transportation revenues from anywhere from $35 billion to $40 billion all the way through 2024. Yikes. And this is where we do our weekly cheers to the end of the pandemic.
You think it's working? I feel like it's not working yet. Like, cheers.
Good vibes.
So did you know that in the United States, there are currently 7% of all bridges are structurally deficient and 19% of major highway pavements are deteriorated? That's a lot. And Congress They unfortunately continue to kick the can down the road instead of funding long-term solution. Just talked about it above that we need a long-term funding solution. So released this week was another report from the Competitive Enterprise Institute, and they detail how we can fix the way we fund our infrastructure. Like I said, we just talk about it every week in the ARPA report, and CEI has some ideas of how the funding structure can change to be more sustainable for the future.
And according to a report author, Virgil G. Payne, a hybrid financial structure will likely be needed in certain parts of the country to fund our crumbling infrastructure. New tolls, new user-based fees, and other funding mechanisms will all need to be deployed to get our infrastructure the repairs and upgrades they need. Payne also says that instead of a highway trust fund bailout every few years, there may be a middle ground between greater general fund spending and new widespread tolls in a political environment built on expectations of public subsidy.
Yeah, so September 21, when the FAST Act expires, is just a mere 10 months away. With a full schedule for the 117th Congress, we have high hopes that the new administration and Congress have the time to build upon the work that's already been done to enact a long-term, well-funded bill. And I feel like we do this every week too. We're going to drink to that.
Hey, Jess, our number one fan is watching and she's cheersing with us.
Oh, hi.
It's Jen.
We miss you, Jen. Come back to the show.
In some other news, World of Asphalt has announced its partnership with the National Asphalt Pavement Association to hold the first People, Plants, and Paving digital conference from March 9 to 11.
So since the show was canceled last month, this is an alternative for contractors in the road building industry to stay on top of their game and learn from industry experts. The educational sessions will feature a live question and answer portion, and the instructors and many sessions qualify for professional development hours. Registration opens for that January 14th, and you can learn more at worldofasphalt.com.
So cheers to keeping your educational edge, even though you can't attend in-person events.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So one of the most read stories on our website, forconstructionpros.com, this week was from Brad Humphrey, and we call him the contractor's best friend. He has tons of insights. He does a podcast with us. In his article this week, he talked about the 5 traits of top contractors, and we really wanted to share them with you today. So as 2020 comes to a close and we look towards a better 2021, these are the traits we can all kind of work towards to be better leaders and employees.
So first, Brad says top contractors do not play it safe. Successful contractors often attempt new services or challenge tough markets when some of their leaders are suggesting the opposite. Consistency at being a top contractor is reinventing the company to better adapt to what the market needs. Top contractors are motivated by situations that are full of obstacles and turning those no signs spread across their paths into yes signs.
Yeah, so another trait is that top contractors, they have a clear vision for what they want their business to be. The most successful contractors are very clear about their path, the direction, and what they are trying to achieve. They might make things up a little bit along the way, but they see where they want to go and they work hard to get their leadership on board and moving all in the same direction.
And the third trait of successful top contractors is that they hire the right people and leverage their strengths. Brad says that top contractors know more about reading the real profile of a contributor to the team than most psychologists.
So the next one is a big one. Top contractors know how to sell their company. They know best about their company and what they can do, and they know how to sell it to obtain more work.
And finally, top contractors do not have traits that allow them to be timid or easily intimidated. It's not arrogance, but instead tremendous confidence in their company's abilities and capabilities that these owners almost feel untouchable.
So you can find more insight from Brad on our website, but know that contractors who work and possess these traits, along with a strong work ethic and the ability to communicate effectively with their team, will undoubtedly be successful, and we will drink to your success. What time is it, Dormy? It's
America Friday.
So this week, we're giving the crew at CalMex Engineering a shout out for their work on the 52 freeway in California. Part of the roadway was actually built over a landfill, so the crew was tasked with repairing the roadway and taking out various dips and waves.
So Joe Terreras from D3 Transport, who submitted the job, said it was a 10-day project of straight night work. The company would chip seal about 200 tons of 3/8 hot chip, and after the road was chip sealed and cleaned, It was tacked with approximately 1,800 tons of 3/4 rubber material. This went on for 10 straight nights until the project was completed on November 22nd. So awesome work, guys. Cheers.
Cheers. And we don't have a picture of that with us today, but we're going to post a picture and a video on the page later today. So check it out and give the crew a like and a shout out. Cheers, guys.
Thanks for joining us today, and make sure you tune in next week for our chat with Edward James from the Asphalt Life group. And we're going to do a road building year in review next week.
Yeah, it's really going to be an awesome show. We're looking forward to it. We're going to have some fun. And so we know a lot of you are out there during your last weeks of paving, wrapping up jobs for the year. And we really want to thank you all and your crew for the hard work you have put in to build America. And make sure you submit some of those favorite projects to us. We'd love to give your crew a shout out. In the meantime, stay safe and healthy, and we will see you next week. Cheers.
Cheers.
Watch Hops and Highways live every Friday at 3 p.m. on Asphalt Contractors' Facebook page, or catch the replay on forconstructionpros.com/videos.